Today we're going to take a look at the Ruko F11 GIM 2 4K drone. Some of the specs that this drone has are brushless motors, level 6 wind resistance, a total of 3 axes image stabilization, 2 mechanical and 1 electronic built into the system. At the time of recording, this drone is priced at $370 US. Now there's always discount codes on Amazon that you guys can also check out to get a better price. In the box, what you're going to get is the Ruko F11 GIM 2 drone itself. You will also have a remote controller with USB-C on the bottom for charging. You will get 2 batteries that have a runtime of 28 minutes each, 2 USB-C cables, a full set of propellers just in case you break them, and the hardware to go with it. Quick start guides and user manual. So you definitely get a good premium feel when you hold the drone in your hand, and the unboxing experience was actually pretty pleasant. The arms on the F11 drone are a little bit stiff if the drone is new, which is a good thing, but this actually does get better with usage. There's also some cardboard covers on the propellers that you want to toss out of the way. Once you do that, there's also a cover on the drone that covers the camera, which you also want to remove. To power on the drone, what you want to do is hold down the power button on the back of the battery. Next, go ahead and go to the Apple Store or the Play Store and download the Ruko app. The setup is pretty straightforward. Go ahead and hold down the power button on the back of the drone. Go ahead and turn on your remote controller. Single tap on the power icon will give you the battery status. Double tapping it will turn on the remote control. After about 40 seconds or so, the lights on the drone will turn pink, indicating that the pairing process is complete. The Ruko video is actually pretty informative, and it pretty much covers everything you need to know as far as setting up the drone. Now, to make it easier, what I like to do first is turn on the drone and the controller, and then try to connect to Wi-Fi on my device. After you do this a few times, the device will automatically connect. All right, so we brought the drone out to a local park here, and I'm gonna go ahead and set it up really quick here and show you guys some test footage of how it actually looks. It is actually not too windy today, so it should be a pretty good day, and we should be able to get some pretty smooth footage for you guys. What I'm gonna do here is just show you how simple it is to kind of set everything up and get going. So we have the drone here. I'm gonna go ahead and open it up, and then I'm gonna go ahead and power it on. While that's going on, I'm also gonna turn on the remote, and then I'm gonna go ahead and pair everything with the phone. So I'll go ahead and turn that on by holding the button, and then I'll hold the power button here on the remote in the center. I'll double tap it, and that should turn on the remote control. Single tap is gonna show you the remote battery. And right now we're about 85%. I'll double tap it and it'll turn on. So right now it's gonna do its thing and it's gonna automatically connect. It should take about 40 seconds or so. The lights are gonna turn from red to pink when it's all connected, and you guys will see here shortly. So there you go, that thing is pretty much connected and paired up with the controller. What I'll do next is I'll turn on my Wi-Fi on the phone, and then that should automatically connect to the drone. I'll load up the app here, the Ruko app, and then I'll go ahead and place this in the controller here. So that's pretty much set up here, and then we're gonna go to the controller icon here on the app, and then now it recognizes that it's connected to the drone, right? So it's asking for a calibration. So to do that, you have to basically do what I'm doing here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a 360 the way the drone is right here. All right, it beeped, and then it's gonna want you to do it like this. And it beeped. All right, and then most importantly, don't forget to remove your camera cover here. This is kind of protects just the lens. And also there is a little plastic screen protector on the lens. You want to remove that too, because I have done some test footage and it actually does kind of impact the way the footage looks. So right here, we're pretty much connected on the app and it's showing us a live view of what the drone is seeing. Quickly, what I'm going to show you guys is how to calibrate the actual gimbal. Sometimes the camera can be at an angle and you want to make sure that you calibrate that before you take off. So to do that, you're going to go ahead and put your knobs here. You're going to put them to the side, and that's going to calibrate the camera right here. So it's going to go ahead and do that just to make everything level. Once it finishes that, you're pretty much ready to go. So that's pretty flat right there. And what I'll do here is show you guys how to take off with the knobs here on the controller. Go ahead and start the motors here. All right, there you go. So there they started. Now that the drone is pretty much idling, what you can do is you can tap on the Joy-Con right here and go up, and that's gonna raise the drone. And when you start it up like that, you can just let it idle, and it's just gonna hover over that takeoff point. At this point right here, if you wanted to record, you can go ahead and hit the record button on the back of the controller. There's also a digital zoom on this side over here. And there's also a camera mode where you can take still pictures. So right here, like if I wanted to digitally zoom in, it's gonna zoom in on whatever the camera is pointed at on the drone. If I take it back, it's just gonna go back to its normal position. And this right here is gonna angle the camera itself on the drone. So if I turn this, it should start moving the camera down. As you guys can see here. All right, so since I'm gonna go ahead and record, I'm gonna go ahead and hit the record button here. A very important thing to know is you need to have a decent SD card in the drone itself, and you need to format it before you start recording. So make sure that you backed up all the information you have on the SD card that you're gonna put in. So I'll go ahead and start by hitting the record button here so that we can start recording, and it's gonna show us on the screen that it's doing that. So I'm gonna switch over to a different camera, but I'm gonna go ahead and land this. So by doing that, I'm just gonna go ahead and push down on the lever here, and once it reaches a certain distance off the ground, it should automatically turn off. All right, so sometimes you kind of just have to hold the Joy-Con down a little bit so that it can actually, stop. Here on the bottom left corner, there is a few different scenes that you can pick from. If you want the drone to follow you, you're gonna go ahead and select image follow, and it's gonna draw a rectangle around a certain image, and it will follow that. If you go underneath the drone, there might be some issues with that, so I would personally recommend GPS follow. I think that works a lot better. The next thing is you have gesture photo. So if you hold up a peace sign, it will take a photo of you, and the same thing goes if you want to record. The only thing is you're gonna hold out your hand. So what I'm gonna do here is just kind of go through some of the settings here that I'm gonna change so that we can actually test out the drone. So normally you're gonna start off in beginner mode. To change that and disable it, you go on the top right hand and you click the 3 buttons, and this is normally gonna be clicked on here. It's gonna show beginner mode. So you want to unclick it, and then it's gonna tell you you're sure, and you want to extend these things further out. Go a little bit towards the middle here so that I can show you guys what this drone can do. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start flying here, and I'm gonna show you guys some test footage, but I did want to show you guys this button here on the left hand side. Here you can change the different modes you're in. So there's GPS mode, camera mode, normal mode, and sport mode. So each one has different settings, but from what I understand, camera mode is actually the smoothest, so I'm gonna go ahead and use that. This stop button is if it's like near you and you're about to hit something and you just want the drone to stop. There is a safety feature built into it. I think you tap it and then you hold it for 3 seconds to activate that stop button. This one is going to turn off your remote control. This button on the right hand side is your return to home. You tap it and it should automatically come back. So let's go ahead and start flying here. All right, let's change to another mode. Let's try sport mode to see how that reacts. And I'm gonna go ahead and move my camera angle down a little bit. There we go. And I can just barely move the trigger here, and it's gonna kind of pan. I wish I kind of did that a little bit slower, but we are in sport mode, so let's change it to camera mode. Let's see if I hold it, if it can go slower. It's kind of about the same. Let's try normal mode. I'm pretty sure there's like some settings in here that you can change to kind of make your panning a little bit slower. This will be useful if you're doing some cinematic videos and you wanted to get the best, smoothest footage. So from what I'm seeing, I mean, it's pretty stable. Let's go ahead and change some of the settings here. Let's do GPS follow, and let's see if it will follow me. Right now it went back a little bit, and let's angle the camera up a little bit just so that it can see us, and let's see how well this works. It should follow me. It's doing that pretty good. And like I said, I would prefer to use the GPS follow instead of the image follow. I think this does a better job. This is actually pretty useful. I feel like if I was to record, like, let's say one of my normal videos about a car, I feel like I can talk next to a car, and the drone will be able to follow me, just as you guys are seeing right here. And I think you can make this work. You should be able to get a good shot of what you're talking about. Overall, I am pretty impressed with the 4K footage that comes from the drone. I'll go ahead and leave some samples of what I was able to capture today. Comment down below what you guys think. Alright guys, so there you have it. That is some samples of what this drone is capable of doing. Overall, I'm pretty surprised that it can go pretty high up, and it never really lost connection to the controller, so that's a plus. Now, I didn't push it as far as it can go, just because I'm still learning on how to use this, and I don't want to take it too far and not be able to retrieve it. But the return home button is actually a pretty good feature that this guy has. If you don't want to worry about, guiding it back, you can just press that button and it'll find its way back. Now, if you guys wanted to buy a drone to do cinematic videos or stuff like that, I feel like this drone is able to do that, but it is going to take some practice just to kind of go slow and pan in the direction that you want to, so that there's not a lot of judder and there's not a lot of movement. I think overall the gimbal does a really good job. When I was really high up there, it was kind of moving a little bit, but it was barely noticeable. The only drawback that I have with the drone is with the battery. Not necessarily how long the runtime is, but the charge time. It takes about 4 hours to charge this single battery. I would like to see an improvement there. Maybe 2 hours would be good. So that's the only thing that I kind of would say is a drawback. But aside from that, I mean, it's a pretty solid drone. If you guys are interested in buying this drone, there is going to be some links in the video description below. And I'm also going to try to get you guys a discount code so that you guys can also take advantage of that. So this is pretty much going to wrap up the end of the video. Thank you, Ruko, for sending out this drone so that I can review it. And I'll see you guys all in the next video. Peace out.